Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the very, very final behind the scenes with the cast and crew of the Mystery Lounge's Viral Murders. And obviously, if you've watched it already, you'll know the butler did it. Okay, well, no, obviously the butler didn't do it, but if you haven't listened to it yet, then do go and listen to it first, because we'll probably be talking about things that happened in the episode, and that is going to include the reveal of the killer. So I'm just going to pause for a second, just in case you haven't watched it, listened to it, whatever. And hopefully they've gone, hello everybody, I hope you really enjoyed the last episode. We've got a lot to get through tonight, and obviously never enough time to do it. So let's start off by talking to Tash, who was the writer for this whole thing. Tash, have you got an insult for us?
I have a whole box of insults.
Box of insults. Pick one out, yeah, pick one out at random. Let's see what.
Shit one out this time. Okay, you wrinkly bottom of a naked mole rat.
It's a good insult. It's a very good insult. So, the last episode of it, obviously you were Max in the series as well. What were your favourite bits to record?
Oh God. Oh my God. Like, I love doing all of it, to be fair. I mean, I know that's like a cop-out answer. I did quite like the ending scenes, because we did 6 of them. And not knowing which one was going to get picked was quite the exciting one. And they all are slightly different in terms of what happens. This happens to be one of my favourite endings, because it had the Janet joke in it.
But then we did have to sit and listen to that "got my marbles" joke again and again and again when we were recording, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. But yeah, I think honestly those were my favourite things to record, but just because some of the quips in those ones are so good. But yeah, I'm going to say now, we also have a very special guest on today, haven't we, Steve? We
do have a very special guest on today. We will get to that in just a minute, because that's going to be very exciting. Well, for us, really, because we've been wanting to do this for quite a while and haven't had the opportunity to. But let's just coast along about the episode. Dylan, you got to die. Because there was a chance that you wouldn't have died at all. So you got to die. How was that? Are people going to be upset that you're dead, or are they going to be sort of cheering on the fact that you're no longer with us?
I think there's going to be a good deal of the audience who are going, "Oh, thank God that wank is dead." It's like Tash said. We had like 3 different endings of how this could have gone, and when I was listening to it, I was like, "Okay, so they know it's this person who's the murderer, but they don't have the password. I can't remember which one we recorded. Which one is it?" And then it was the one where I think, in all honesty, Blue gets the nicest death. Because
it's not a bad death, is it? I
know, right?
There are worse ways to die.
He actually sacrifices himself for Rose and ends up suffocating to death, which, to be honest, is supposedly one of the most nicest ways to go. So by all accounts, I think he got a fair ride, to be honest.
Do you feel the need to point out the sacrifice was completely in vain, because she died anyway?
Yeah. Oh well. C'est la vie.
It was quite a gruesome end, and I'd have to say, if you're listening and if you're in the group and you've been contributing over the last few weeks and you've tried to figure out the password and everything, it's your fault that they're dead. It's completely your fault. Let's come to Lee, who was obviously in the scenes as well in these last few episodes. How did you find? I mean, because again, we recorded sort of several versions of this. How did you find that? Knowing from scene to scene what was happening when we were recording?
Well, as soon as I realised what was going to happen, I was like, oh, damn, they don't get to use my screen. So I was a little kind of like, shoot. I just screamed down my entire neighbourhood for nothing. And I would like to just say well done to everyone for guessing who it was. It's a shame we didn't get the password though. Real shame.
Really is. And I did anybody here get the password? Because you guys didn't know the password before. Was there anybody? Nobody. Dylan did. Well, that's useful, isn't it?
Didn't we like figure it out on the way at some point, and then we just all forgot because it was like a long time ago now?
Yeah, that feels like right.
Might have done. Yes, that might be possible.
I didn't forget. I knew what it was. Aisha didn't even get it, but I still kept it quiet. Just saying. So my own wife, I didn't even tell the password. I kept my lips sealed, hoping that maybe she figured it out and that somebody else would. Nobody else did. Bit good, really. I had a screaming death scene as well. Never mind.
We've got with us today some of the other members of the cast who, of course, weren't in the last episode because they'd already expired. Matt, you've been listening along. I know because you sent a message to our group. What did you think of the last couple of episodes?
Fantastic. I thought that ending was like an amazing plot twist right at the end. Nobody survives, and it was just, it was just a great way of, like, it's almost like that whole Game of Thrones plot twist. You think it's going to be like, oh, someone's going to survive, it's going to be great, everything's good, England just scored a goal, well done guys. But no, but then it just goes completely wrong, and it's like, and the detective's left picking up all the pieces, and I just thought it was fantastic. So yeah, it's great to have those ways of deciding different endings. I think that's a very good way of doing murder mysteries, and yeah, I know it's like the routine and all that lot, but I thought fantastic, very well done from everybody in that scene. You were all brilliant.
That's wonderful. And of course, a lot of that has to do with the acting, but a lot of that also has to do with the production as well. And we have somebody very special with us today who hasn't been on before. Georgina, who is our editor. Say hello.
Hello.
So you've been editing this. What are some of the problems that you've run into whilst you've been editing? What are the things that you probably wouldn't know about if you were just listening to it, but you've had to deal with over the past year, I guess?
Because we are all recorded in separate locations, it made it quite difficult to make sure that we all had similar levels, microphones were all the same, things like that. So some of the issues I came across was trying to make sure everybody sounded like they were all in the same room. So
I see that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was the nice thing about this project was the fact that we were able to do it even though COVID was happening. Mm-hmm. And we were all separate, but we could still make something that sounded amazing. And you guys were brilliant. You acted your socks off, and you made my job quite easy to be able to produce what I did in the end. So that was good.
But you also went way beyond that as well, because you actually created soundscapes for each of the different scenes as well. How do you go about putting that together?
Okay, so what I need to do is work out exactly where you guys are in the script. So say you're in your panic rooms. And to make sure you didn't realise who the killer was, I had to make sure everybody had separate sounds. And even the killer's soundscape was slightly different from everybody else's. So no one could try and pick up who it was, because I didn't want to give that away. So what I would do is I'd make an atmosphere kind of noise. I'd put in air conditioning kind of noises. And if they were outside of the panic rooms, then I would make sure there would be like traffic noise going past in the rooms. There would be typing in the background in the offices and things like that. So it was just layering sounds to try and make it sound as realistic as possible.
And this is the same process that they use in films as well, isn't it?
Yes. It's a lot easier with film because you've got the visuals, so you can actually see what's happening and you can be more subtle so you can like point onto something and go, oh, it's a button. And when someone's hovering over a button, it's quite difficult to kind of get that across just with the audio. So you have to kind of invent noises and sounds that would kind of go along with that to give the tension and the fact that it's happening and to get across everything that was happening in the script as well. But yeah, and I love the fact that it was meant to be in a universe which was steampunky. So that gave me the chance to be a little bit more inventive with the vehicles and the machineries and the computers and things like that. So I could just play around with the sounds to try and make it more steampunky and kind of spacey and unusual, and just try and bring Tash's universe to life.
And so, as somebody who was sort of sat outside the recording process, what were your favourite? Were there scenes that you got back and you went, "This is just brilliant. I'd love it." What were your favourite ones to edit? The favourite ones to listen back to?
I loved Yellow, and I loved the fact when I killed you. I'm so sorry, but when I killed you, I got to be able to like shoot you with loads of bullets and like all the rest of it. So I could just make the death scenes as like elaborate and yeah, just fun. And Orange, when you got killed with all the lasers and you were screaming, and oh, it was just brilliant. It just made me chuckle. I was really sad. It makes me sound like a psycho.
Definitely, the deaths are the things that a lot of people have picked out the deaths as their favourite parts of the episodes.
And I microwave bread. That was brilliant.
Yeah. Demelza, out of all of the deaths that you've heard, which was your favourite?
Oh, come on, that's not fair. They were all... I love listening to people die. How am I supposed to pick a favourite? I think probably Yellow, just because I wanted him to die the most.
Oh, come on.
Yellow, I should point out, is getting more love now than they have throughout the whole of the run.
Yeah.
They were the character that everybody loved to hate, but there you go.
Best way. It's the best way.
It really is. It really is. So, Ruth, if we could come to you now. So, I mean, you've not been in it for a little while, but how are you finding the actual episodes that as you're experiencing them for the first time?
Do you know what? It's been such fun seeing how it unfolds. I still had no idea who was going to be left alive right up to the end. Do you know what? I'm really sad that Pink didn't make it.
I think we all are, really. I think we'd all like to have seen it. You know, everybody get the right answer and everything.
I was hoping they would both come out of it, or I was hoping that everybody would be dead. But no, Blue survived. Max did her usual thing of getting everyone killed. Yeah, mostly.
At some point in the future, we're going to have a murder mystery where Max gets killed and everybody else is responsible for it.
Max's final hurrah.
Max has to come out of it every time because she has to investigate all of the murder mysteries in Hiltondale-shire.
Well, this is where we invent her twin sister. Who takes on the name
or something, or like taken to a science lab and redone in some strange way. I don't know. You could work something like that.
Yes, or
by killing me,
or clone or something like that. That'd be great. Yeah.
No, you can have it fake.
You can't kill pure spite.
You can have it Detective Max and the Reichenbach pratfall.
Nice.
That'd be fantastic. Vadney, you're one of the directors. We've been talking kind of what life after the podcast. I know there's a few things that we can't talk about, but there's also a few things that we probably can. What's coming up in the future that you think is going to be interesting that people should look out for?
Well, the whole universe of Hiltondale-shire universe, there's a number of we're looking at the moment at cold cases in Bumonshoe, which is the seaside town in Hiltondale-shire. They didn't have a very good detective, so there's quite a lot of cold cases that need clearing up. So there's that coming up. And generally, Tash is developing, thank goodness, with her brilliant writing, stories for each of the cities and the towns in Hiltondale-shire. So hopefully we'll be going for a few years yet. And the universe, we have the map of the universe, which we're hoping to launch onto the world at some point in
I think at some point that might need to be available as a tea towel.
Yes.
It would be amazing as a tea towel.
Imelda and I added a bar and grill right
did.
next to the cremation area.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
It's very
Perfect.
special type
That's
of grill,
exactly
yes.
We thought that was a good idea.
So-
only you and Imelda could get away with that.
So things are being worked on behind the scenes. Tash, you're writing as you sort of mentioned earlier on. We haven't been able to do any live shows, obviously, because of COVID. And I'm starting to see people starting to open up again now. There are several theatres that are open. They've got plays going on and things like that. Are you looking forward to going back to the live shows? And if so, what's the thing that you're missing most about it?
I do love doing the live shows. I don't know. There's something about being on stage that you just can't get behind the camera. The whole process is so different. You've got to do the rehearsal process. For me, is the best bit of any live show, because you spend a lot of time working on your team building, becoming friends, becoming really close with you as the cast, and so that when you're on the stage and you're doing some improvisations and some scripted work and you're having to change and adapt to what the audience are doing, and you know that you can just give an actor a look and they know what you mean and they go and do it. So I'm missing that sort of that being together and just it's play. That's what live theatre is. It's play. You get to play games and be big children and play act and play make believe, and that's something that I'm really missing, because that's what I love about live theatre. And it's the thrill as well of only getting that one chance, and then knowing that some sod in the background is going to try and make you laugh or something when you're on stage and you're doing a serious show and they throw a penis on your letter or something that you're having to try and keep a straight face. And all the camaraderie that happens in live shows. I'm missing all of that because I am through and through a live actor rather than anything else. That's what I went into. That's what I got trained in, and that's what I love.
Well, we should be back live sometime next year. That's the plan. Hopefully towards the end of the first quarter. It's a businessy thing which we don't normally have to deal with. But so that's going to be exciting, and of course we've got ideas for podcasts and things which we're working on right now, which may even be out before then, so do look out for those as well. That's going to be it for this particular show. I want to thank everybody for coming along, everybody for watching, listening, for communicating in the Facebook groups, and for letting us know how they think, and of course for getting the password wrong. This is it for the behind the scenes shows, but there will be more. Stay tuned for new stuff that we'll have as soon as we've got something. We'll let you know. Yes, of course.
Tash has some thank yous to make, don't you, Tash? Before we finish the recording.
Yes, we put them on the thing, and I can't remember all the names. We did want to say a very, very, very big thank you to anybody who helped us with this. There were a lot of voice actors who lent us their voices. There was a lovely lady who did the Janet voice for us. A lot of them were Avadni's friends. We had a lot of Avadni's friends, and a few of our cast members friends sort of chip in and lend us their voices to do just some of the background scene setting. The biggest thanks, I think, is got to go to George, because she went above and beyond to get this thing out, and she has worked flat out for this year. She's done a job that she's just speechless at how good it is. It's not often I'm speechless but it was so fucking good.
I can contest it's not often that she's speechless.
They can.
That is true. No.
There are, it's better than I could have imagined it to be, and that, I think that's enlarged down to the cast being so amazing, but down to George's work, because Like the editors don't get the credit they deserve. They are the ones that get the comic timing perfect, which is George has done time and time again. They're the ones that get the atmosphere bang on, which George has done time and time again. And there were times when I was listening to it just in the background and I'd forget that it was a fucking podcast. And then I'd go to watch it and I'd be like, no, it's not actually a TV thing. You know, just little moments like that. And I could see Kiltondale. I could see these people interacting. I knew exactly what was happening. And all that is down to what George did. You know, the hours of work that she put into this, we wish we could have paid her more. We couldn't pay her nearly enough. It was only a drop in the ocean compared to how much I think she's worth as an editor and as a general amazing person to work with. The ideas that she came up with, and she's just lovely to work with as well. So,
I mean, the fact that she'd say, I can't quite get this to work. Could you please re-record? I mean, honestly, we were delighted to. And thank you to all of the cast. Again, you were fantastic. We were all delighted with what you did. But you know, can the cast please now thank George with an applause, because you know she made you, all of us, sound fabulous. So yeah. George, thank you very much.
Yes.
George, you're amazing. We love you.
Thank you.
Thank you, George.
Honestly,
I think we have to have a speech now. I think that's the way this works, right?
Speech.
I loved killing every single one of you.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
Well done.
I was gutted when Pink and Blue died, though. It did bring tears to my eyes. But I still think Blue is still yeah. But I still think Blue can get out of that panic room.
Yeah.
Maybe, and
perhaps there will be a sequel where he does, and then exacts his revenge on everybody who didn't get him out of the panic room in the first place. Who knows? Yeah, basically.
He gets arrested in the future because he called himself Indigo. Just saying.
Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you.
And it has been amazing. When we started this, it was Tasha's idea. It was an idea. It was nothing else. It was can we get some people together to do a podcast whilst COVID's going on, and so that we're not all sat around doing absolutely nothing. And that started to come to fruition, and then we got the funding, and then more things were possible because of that. And just I want to thank everybody as well, because I came to this as somebody who was sort of outside. I knew Tash, and that was a bit it. I'm now a director of the Mystery Lounge, and I'm really excited about where we're going as well. I think it's going to be brilliant, and I can't wait to work with you all again as well. It's going to be great. But that is it for today's show. We will be back. Don't forget that there will be more things to come. Do follow us on Facebook, follow us here, make sure you subscribe, hit the little bell icon, all of that sort of stuff. But until next time, thank you. Thank everybody in the cast again, because this is such a gushing speech now that I think it is a waterfall. It's officially a waterfall at this point. But that's it. Thank you very much. Goodbye, good luck, good riddance. Bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye bye.